Hello everyone, welcome back to another interesting one. So in today's tutorial we'll be making this dress, and after this tutorial and you find it helpful, please do give me a thumbs up. Also subscribe if you've not, and remember to share, like, and leave a comment for me on the comment box. Let me know what you think about this dress. So let's get started. These are the materials I use for this princess gown, and we'll be drafting it directly on the fabric. I have 4 folds of fabric here, both the front and the back. The back is greater with 1 inch for the zipper allowance. As you can see, these are the measurements I'll be working with. Since it is an off shoulder with strap, I'll be taking away 2.5 inches for my off shoulder, and I'll mark my waistline of 8.5 inches and the joining allowance. So I will take my chest line, or half of my round armhole, which is 4.5, taking note of the 2.5 inches that I minus from the shoulder part. So I will draw that line, and that line will be my chest line. Next is to take half of my shoulder measurement, which is 4 inches, and I will repeat that same thing on the chest line. My shoulder measurement is 8 inches, half of it is 4 inches. So I connected that line, and on my waistline, I'm taking quarter of my waist measurement plus my 1 inch stitching allowance. I'm working with a waist measurement of 21 inches. Same with the chest measurement. That is the waist and chest circumference are 21 inches. So plus 1 inch allowance, quarter of it plus 1 inch allowance. That is just what I marked. Then I will connect my armhole curve with the chest line. So the next thing is for me to add half an inch on the neckline for my stitching. And remember, I've added my stitching allowance to the side and at the down part. So, and all my measurements started from that zipper line. I did not include the zipper allowance. So I'll go ahead and cut out this, and it is ready to be joined. So this is optional. If you want a sweetheart neckline, you can come down by ½ inch or 1 inch from the neckline and connect it to about 2 inches on the neck width. Then you trim it out, but I'll be leaving mine straight. So on the zipper line for the back, I will go up by ½ an inch and take it straight down to the side seam and cut it out. So I'll just place my notches on the zipper line. And if I open up, this is what the front looks like, and the back as well. So I will cut another piece of this one for my lining, and this will be my main fabric. So after cutting the main fabric and the lining out, I ironed an interfacing, a fabric interfacing on it. And for the front part, I use this shiny trimming. I don't know what the name is, so I use it to embellish the front. So for us to cut the sleeve, the strap that we'll be using for the sleeve, we'll have to make some calculations. And I will take what I have on my front part. I have 8 inches. Then I'll take away ½ inch from both sides that I'll be using to join the sleeve. So I will end up having 7 inches. I will repeat the same thing from the back. I'll take away 1 inch for the zipper allowance, and I'll take away ½ inch from this sleeve area, and I'll be left with 3.5 inches. The same thing for the second part of the back. 1 inch for my zipper allowance, ½ inch from the armhole side, and it will be 3.5 inches. So we'll be doing some calculations. This calculation is just to enable us to have a strap that will not be too tight on the child's overarm. So my front, I have 7 inches. And for my back, I have 3.5 inches into 2. That is 7 inches as well. And I will end up with 14 inches. 7 inches from plus 7 inches. That is the front and the back, and it will be 14 inches. So this is the neckline I have on my fabric now. So for the round shoulder measurement or overarm measurement, this is how you take the measurement. The picture that is being displayed on the screen is how you take your round shoulder measurement. So for mine is 24 inches. The overarm or round shoulder of the child is 24 inches. I will take away 14 inches from that 24 inches and I will be left with 10 inches. So this 10 inches is for the two sleeves. So for each sleeve, I will be having 5 inches for each sleeve. Adding all these things together will give me the total round armhole. So like I said, for each sleeve, I'll have 5 inches for each sleeve. That is the width of the sleeve. So the 5 inches will stay on both arms, making up 10 inches. So for us to draft it perfectly, I will show you two methods that we'll use to draft it out. The first one is not correct. If you draw it out the first one, the child will not be able to raise her arm. So we want to give it some ease that will allow the child to raise her arms. So I just made my starting line, and the first thing is for me to take my sleeve length. I'm taking 2 inches for the length of the strap. So the 5 inches, remember this paper is on fold, so the 5 inches on fold will be 2.5 inches, and I'll take that 2.5 inches and I'll add my half inch for my joining allowance. So if you repeat this same measurements on the down part, you are getting it all wrong, because at the end of the day, the down part will end up being tight. Remember, as you proceed downward from the armhole, it gets wider. So if I repeat it exactly this same way and cut it out in this square shape, I will end up making the child uncomfortable, even for an adult. So at that down part is advisable to add some ease, so that as you fix it to the armhole, it will be proper. So this is what it will look like. You will not be able to even lift your arm. So but for the correct method, we'll just draw out our starting point like so, and we'll take the same sleeve length of 2 inches and mark it across as well. And the 5.5 inches, we'll take it 2.5 inches and add our half an inch joining allowance to the sleeve. But for the down part, we'll take the exact measurement, then add 1 inch extra to the measurement. So you can add 1 inch or 1.5 inches, but I am adding 1 inch so that there will be ease at the down part. As an armhole goes down, it becomes wider than the upper part. So you can connect it with a curvy ruler or a straight part, anyone you want. I'm just giving it a slight curve at that point. So the line under is greater by 1 inch. So I'll just go ahead and add half an inch at the bottom part and at the top part. This will help me to turn, because I'll be turning the sleeve neatly at the top and at the down part. So when I cut this out, I will use it to cut on my fabric. I've added all my stitching allowance, so I don't need to add any allowance while cutting on my fabric. And after cutting it out, I will turn it out. I will sew on the upper part with half an inch and on the down part with half an inch, and I'll turn it out. So when I place, you will see that it's having that angle shape instead of it just relaxing. At that point, it is almost at angle 90. That is what we want. I will cut it out and sew it and turn it out. So I'll cut 4 of it, because 2 for each sleeves. So this is what I have after cutting all my pieces, and this is what my strap looks like. So for the strap that we're going over the shoulder, this one goes from the front shoulder to the back shoulder. I cut out 6 inches. You know, my off shoulder was minus 2.5 inches. Then I added an extra half inch for joining allowance. That was why it's 6 inches. That is 3 inches on fold. So I made a belt, and I'll be joining my belt at the side. I have a video of this on the channel. You can check it out if you don't know how to do that. So for the front part, I just located the midpoint on the neckline, and from that midpoint, I'm taking 2 inches on both sides. I want my neck width to be 4 inches when it's open. When it's on fold, it will be 2 inches, but when it is open, it will be 4 inches. So from that, from the lines I marked, I will place my strap. from the lines I mark. After the line, I'll place my strap and I'll stitch them down. So for the bigger strap, I will come down by half an inch. This half an inch is for the neckline joining. I'll come down by half an inch and I will pin it. Make sure you leave half an inch at the upper part so that you'll be able to join your neckline. So I'll pin it. While I was placing these shiny trimmings, I made sure I left half an inch at the up and at the down. So for my joining to the skirt part and to the neckline. So I will stitch that strap and I will take my lining part, the front piece, I'll take the lining and I'll stitch on the armhole, on the neckline and on the second armhole. That is when I must have finished tacking the straps down so that it will not disturb me. After doing that, you can top stitch. So I finished doing that for the front alone. I top stitch towards the lining. On the neckline only, you cannot top stitch on the armhole. Just give it a notch. And when this is how it will turn out when I finish joining it. So the one that will go through the shoulder, the strap, the smaller one, then the bigger one will go over the arm. The smaller strap will go over the shoulder. So it's time for me to join the back part. So I'll pick it up, leaving my zipper allowance, and I'll measure 2 inches, exactly what I have on my front. To the other part, I will measure 2 inches from my zipper allowance. And I'll place it well, facing right side facing. I'll pick it and make sure you are fixing the belt correctly, the strap correctly, so that you not end up having something that is tangled. I'll repeat the same thing on the second part of the back and I'll stitch it down. So for the bigger strap, just the same thing, right side together, match it up, come down by half an inch from the neckline so that you'll be able to join your neckline and pin. I'll repeat the same thing for the second sleeve and I'll go and stitch them down. After doing that, I'll just take their linings and cover it the way I covered the front part. So I'll just place the lining on top of it. So placing it here, you might not be able to sew it from this part. So you turn it over to the other piece, then you'll be able to sew it. So I'll just sew half an inch, but I will not sew to my zipper line. My zipper line will be open, even on the second side. From your zipper line, you will sew to the other side, to the armhole. You notch the armhole, then top stitch the neckline. After doing this, I ironed it so that it will lay flat, and this is what I have. So it's time to close the sides, and I'll bring the front and the back right side facing each other, lining to lining, main fabric to main fabric, and I'll close it with 1 inch seam allowance. I'll do the same thing to the second part, and after that, this is what I have, and it's already looking fine. So I made sure I ironed the inseam, the side seam open on the inside. So as you can see, our strap is at an angle, and this will be perfect for the child's overarm. So for us to get the cape, we'll have to measure through the neckline, through the bigger strap, and the front neckline. From the back neckline, you can add your zipper allowance or you just leave it, but I added mine. So I measured the from the zipper through the bigger strap to the front neckline and to the back neckline as well. So what I have there was 26.5 inches. Remember, I added my zipper allowance, and each zip is 1 inch. So I minused it from my calculation. I ended up with 24.5 inches. My round shoulder is 24 inches, like I mentioned earlier. So when I minus, I found out that I had extra 0.5 inches. So I will use this 0.5 inches as is. If you don't want to add this 0.5 inches, just go back and sew it and take it off from the way your armhole where you sew it, so that it be exact 24 inches. So but I want this 0.5 inches. So the way we cut the front one is the way we are going to cut this one. We will be giving it a slight curve at the upper part so that it will rhymes with what we did earlier. So I'll be having the down part longer by 1 inch. I'll cut out my fabric with 26 inches. I have my fabric cut out 26 inches by 11 inches. The width is 26 inches, the length is 11 inches, and iron and interfacing on it so that it will give it a bit of strength. So for this shiny tool, I also cut it out exactly, and I'll go and tack it all around to stay one as one, and I will fold over and stitch with 1/2 inch and turn it inside out. So I'll take to my ironing board and iron, making sure that the seam line is up. So we'll be making it as a bow. So after ironing it out, I folded it over, and I will now take my measurement. My round shoulder is 24 inches plus that's ease of 0.5 that I'll be having. That is what my measurement is. I'll mark it at the upper part. So I just added 24.5 at the upper part, and for my down part I'll be marking 25.5, so that we'll end up getting it right at the end of the day, not after creating ease on our strap we'll mess it up with this cape that we want to place on it. But if you don't want to cut it slanty like this, if you want to cut it straight, I will show you how to go about it when you are fixing it, so that it will also come out fine and rhyme with what you did earlier. So at the upper part I have 24.5, at the down part I have 25.5. So I'll get the midpoint and pleat the midpoint just the way we normally do our bow. I will make a bow there, and I'll use my small trimmings to cover it up, and I will tack it over there, and I'll bring my front part and locate the midpoint on the neckline and attach it. I'll pin it all through to the back. I will be tacking it. I will not be using gum on it, but if you want, you can use your hot gum. So it's on the big strap. I will locate the middle part and I'll fix it there. I'll take it through to the back and I'll fix it before my zipper allowance. And remember, I've not fixed my zip. So if you cut it straight, you can just leave it this slanty. If you cut it the way we cut it, we'll be fixing it straight. But if you cut it straight, not taking note of the 1 inch extra, just fix it this slanty at the down part, so that it will take care of the easing at the overarm. So I'll go over to the skirt part. So for my skirt part, I have 10 yards of tulle cut out. This plain tulle or net. The length is 18.5 inches for the three of them, and each of it is 10 yards. So I will go and gather each of them. So for my shiny net, I have folded my fabric and cut out 4 inches each of them. I used 5 yards of this shiny net, so each of them is 4 inches in length. So, and also for the skirt parts, the shiny one, I cut out a full circle. Before cutting out the full circle, I multiplied my waist radius 21 inches by 2, that is 42 inches, and I divided it by 6.28 to get the full circle. Then for the lining, I have half circle. I just divided my 21 inches, which is my waist radius, by 3.142, and I cut 2, but the shorter one will be my lining, while the longer one will be the one that I'll use to line the net. So I will go over now and fix my horsehair braid or my crinoline on the down part of the full flare. So when you bring it on the right side, I will place my crinoline on the right side, and I will stitch with, you can stitch with either 1/4 inch or 1/2 inch. So I will stitch it all through to the end on the right side, not on the wrong side. And after stitching it this way, I'll flip it to the wrong side and top stitch on the top part. You will see what I did after doing this one. Stitching with 1/2 inch. After that, I'll flip it to the wrong side of this fabric and top stitch on the upper part. So to make my gathers for the smaller ruffles, I'm setting my machine with the longest length 9 and 4. I fixed it at 9 and at 4. And when I bring each of the cut out 4 inches in length net, I will ruffle it on the middle, at the middle. So you place it at the middle and you sew. For the fact that I've set my stitch length to be at 9 and stitch width to be at 4. I'm using a butterfly sewing machine anyways. So after sewing the crinoline, I flip to the wrong side, like I said earlier, and I top stitch at the upper part. So for that place that the crinoline will be joined, I used the net as well to cover it up, and so that it will not disturb the child at any point. You know, the crinoline is not really friendly on the skin, so you need to cover up that part. So after that, I will pick up all these ruffles that I made, and I'll place it on the crinoline on the right side and at the middle as well. So on that first thread that I used to sew the to ruffle or gather the these nets, I will sew on it. So if you have a lot of net, it will be good so that it will be full. So mine came out a bit scanty at the back. So if you are working with this design and you don't want to see the crinoline, you either go with the color of the fabric. The crinoline should be the color of the fabric, and you should have um fuller net as well. So this is when I reached the from one end to the other. So I stop stitched it at the back part. I started from the back part and I ended at the back part. So if you have enough net, you can add on it, or you make it very close. It will come out finer than this. So I'm cutting off all the threads and I will gather the waistline. Now I'll gather the waist. I will set my machine to the gathering stage, and I'll gather the waistline. Remember, I multiplied my waist by 2 to cut out my full circle. So now I'm taking it back to gather it to the exact waist measurement, 21 inches plus 2 inches for zipper allowance. So I'll be gathering it to 23 inches. So the beauty of a ball gown depends on the amount of net you have as well and how you layered it. So after joining everything, both the skirt part and the upper part, I'll bring them together and join it at the waist part. Both of them are ready. I will not be showing this because I already have videos where I join this, and this video is becoming lengthy. This is the outcome of the dress we just made. What do you think about it? Do leave me a thumbs up, a review, and like and subscribe if you've not. And thank you, and I will see you in my next one. Bye.